The story begins with a dog named Milo, whose life changed forever when his beloved owner, Ethan, passed away. Milo, a golden retriever mix full of energy and joy, suddenly became a shadow of his former self. Ethan's death left him heartbroken, and the once happy dog fell into deep sadness. He wouldn't even respond to his new caretakers, Liam and Ella Donovan, who had lovingly adopted him from the local shelter. Despite their best efforts to comfort him, Milo's sorrow was too strong. He missed Ethan too much. Weeks passed, and Milo stayed curled up in a corner of the Donovan home, distant and quiet. He ignored the other dogs in the house and showed no interest in playing or bonding with Liam and Ella, who did everything they could to make him feel loved. They gently patted him and spoke softly, but Milo stayed lost in his grief. His heart seemed too broken to heal, his loyalty to Ethan holding him back from finding happiness again. Milo's sadness ran deep. Ethan had been more than just an owner to him. They were best friends for nearly 10 years. From the moment Ethan adopted Milo as a puppy, they shared an unbreakable bond. They spent their days playing, taking long walks, relaxing on the couch, and watching movies together. Ethan always understood what Milo needed, and in return, Milo loved him with complete loyalty. Their life was full of happy moments, but everything changed when Ethan suffered a medical emergency. He was rushed to the hospital and sadly passed away. Milo, confused and heartbroken, was taken to a shelter, a place that felt cold and unfamiliar. He couldn't understand why Ethan was gone. At the shelter, Milo's grief only deepened. The staff tried their best to care for him, but nothing could ease his pain. He stopped eating regularly, ignored the other dogs, and wouldn't let anyone comfort him. It was as if Milo had given up, waiting for Ethan to come back. That's when Amelia, a caring worker at the shelter, realized that Milo needed more than just a new home. He needed someone who understood the depth of his loss and could help him heal. Amelia reached out to Detroit Dog Rescue, sharing Milo's heartbreaking story. Liam, a volunteer at the rescue, was deeply moved by what he heard. "We'll take him," Liam said to Amelia. "Ella and I will foster him and try to bring him out of this darkness." Amelia, feeling relieved, agreed and hoped that this new home could give Milo the love and care he desperately needed. The very next day, Liam and Ella arrived at the shelter. When they found Milo, he was curled up in a corner, his eyes dull, and his body language filled with sadness. Ella's heart broke just looking at him. She slowly approached his cage and whispered softly, "Hey Milo, it's okay, sweet boy. We're here to help you." Milo barely moved, only twitching his ears at her gentle voice. Even when Liam offered his hand for Milo to sniff, the dog stayed distant. But there was a small sign of hope when Milo let Liam softly stroke his fur. It wasn't much, but it was a start. The Donovans knew this was going to take time, but they were willing to be patient. Carefully, they led Milo out of the shelter and into their car. The ride home was quiet, with Milo resting his nose against the window, lost in his thoughts. When they arrived at their cozy house, Liam and Ella introduced him to their other dogs, who greeted him with friendly curiosity. But Milo stayed cautious, unsure of his new surroundings. They made a special space for him in Liam's office, filling it with a soft bed and some toys, hoping he would feel safe there. In the following days, Milo remained withdrawn, curling up in his corner and avoiding everyone. Ella often sat beside him, speaking softly and offering comfort, but Milo didn't respond. Liam joined her, spending time with Milo, but the dog seemed uninterested. Their hearts ached to see him in such pain. Liam and Ella began to worry if they would ever be able to reach the sad dog and help him heal. Then, one quiet afternoon, something unexpected happened. As Milo lay in his usual spot, he suddenly heard a voice coming from the living room. His ears perked up, and for the first time in weeks, he lifted his head, listening closely. That voice, could it really be? It was a sound he hadn't heard in what felt like forever. His heart raced, and without thinking, Milo got up and slowly walked toward the living room, his tail wagging cautiously. Could it really be him? Standing in the middle of the room was Ethan, Milo's beloved owner, alive and well. Milo froze, his eyes wide with disbelief. Ethan's gaze met his, and a rush of emotions filled the air. "Milo," Ethan whispered, his voice trembling with shock. "Is it really you, buddy?" In that moment, hope sparked in Milo's heart. and the bond they shared felt stronger than ever. Milo let out an excited bark and raced toward Ethan, his tail wagging furiously. Tears streamed down Ethan's face as he dropped to his knees, wrapping his arms around the dog he had missed so much. "Oh, Milo," Ethan cried, "I thought I'd lost you forever." Joy filled Milo's heart as he whimpered and licked Ethan's face, nuzzling into his chest. For the first time in months, he felt whole again. Liam and Ella stood in the doorway, their eyes glistening with tears as they watched this emotional reunion. It felt like a miracle. "How is this possible?" Ella asked softly. "We thought you had passed away." Ethan, still holding onto Milo, explained through his tears. He shared how he had fallen into a coma after a medical emergency, and the hospital mistakenly thought he hadn't survived. By the time he woke up, Milo had already been taken to the shelter. Ethan had searched everywhere for him, desperate to find his best friend. "I've been looking everywhere for him," Ethan said, his voice filled with relief. "I never stopped hoping we'd be reunited." Their hearts swelled with joy, knowing their bond was unbreakable. The Donovans were amazed by the story they had just heard. "We're just glad we could help," Liam said, smiling through his tears. "Milo's been waiting for you." From that day on, Milo became a different dog. The sadness that had weighed him down for so long disappeared, replaced by pure joy. Ethan took him home, and the familiar sights and smells of their house brought Milo back to life. He dashed around the rooms, wagging his tail and barking happily, as if he were rediscovering his old life. Ethan, filled with gratitude, couldn't stop smiling. Weeks later, while they were walking in the park, Milo suddenly stopped, his tail wagging excitedly. He spotted Liam and Ella with their dogs. Ethan smiled and called out to them, "Liam! Ella!" The couple waved and rushed over, thrilled to see Milo so full of life. Milo bounded toward them, nuzzling their hands in greeting, his tail wagging nonstop, showing just how happy he truly was. Ethan hugged Ella tightly, his eyes shining with gratitude. Ella smiled as she watched Milo play joyfully with their dogs. She expressed that they were just happy to be part of his story. Liam, grinning, added that Milo was a special dog and that seeing him with them was all the thanks they needed. As they stood together, their hearts full of love for Milo, they realized his journey had come full circle. After all the sadness, he was finally back where he belonged, in the arms of the person he loved most. Milo wagged his tail and barked with joy, surrounded by both old and new friends. It was clear to everyone that his heart had healed. The bond they shared was stronger than ever, reminding them all of the power of love and friendship. So, what are your thoughts about this heart-touching story? Share your opinions in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on our new animal stories. Your support means the world to us.